My turn.
Do the Oh yeah. You do the intro.
You want to do it? Fair enough if you want to do it, but
actually, I think Will should do it because getting back in the swing of things if you want to. Man.
Yeah, okay, go on then.
Right. So, with all the latest big talking points, news, and discussion from the football world, this is Football Central. Right, hello everyone, welcome to another Football Central where we're basically looking back at the previous round of games as well as previewing the next round of games. So joining me tonight are JLIWheels and Sam Taylor. Good evening to you lads.
Yeah, hello Will. A bit of warning that you were going to start the stream would have been nice, by the way.
So I thought, because when you said you were ready, and I didn't expect to...
Anyway, moving on.
Right.
It's been another interesting week of football. A lot's gone on, hasn't it? I feel like
yes.
in the footballing world. The passing of Diego Maradona, which I think we are going to get onto at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
Arguably the greatest player that's ever played the game, in some people's opinion.
Yeah, in some people's opinion, I share the opinion that he is one of the greatest. I don't share the opinion that he is the greatest ever. I think the greatest ever is Pele. But he definitely is.
But is in that conversation, though?
Yeah, he definitely is top 5.
He's good for entertainment value.
For me, it's Pele.
Oh, Pele was brilliant.
Pele, Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, Thierry Henry.
Pele's still going strong gears, alive and kicking, which is great.
Thierry Henry is quite in that top. That world class Thierry Henry, but whether he'd be in that bracket is another question.
And unlike Will, who just sees Diego Maradona as an entertainment value, we like to appreciate the career that he had, of course, with Napoli, Barcelona, Boca Juniors, and Argentina, of course, won a World Cup with Argentina. Sadly, though, I do believe that his life in football will be remembered by his addictions and his hand of God goal. Not to mention that the second goal he scored against England that day, for anyone that remembers, was quite possibly one of the best goals ever scored. But that's the problem with history. Only report the negative, don't focus on the positive.
But I'd just like to. What a goal! Tranmere scored against Brackley. Just back to it. Rest in peace, Diego.
Yeah. Thank you.
Even though it was way before my time, thank you for all the memories and everything that you stood for within football. And
not too sure about your cocaine taking habits, but
Rest in peace. Yeah.
So to start off the Premier League week, I think this might be a very interesting conversation. To start off the Premier League week was, of course, Newcastle versus Chelsea. A 2-0 win for the Blues, holding goals from Tammy Abraham and Federico Fernandez. Obviously opened the scoring by putting into his own net. The Chelsea train marches on.
Yes.
Title contenders, people, what do we reckon?
No.
I'm still going to go with my gut feeling that the signings are bedded in, so I think they're going to win the title.
Not for me.
They certainly got a chance, but I think they'll just come short.
I refuse to get drawn into that conversation.
Okay,
Because
well, we have discussed that before, haven't we?
I just think, Ziyech is brilliant. Thiago Silva already in discussions for a new deal. Apparently, in the new year, he's going to talking with Lampard for a new deal, which I think he deserves because he's bloody fantastic.
There's no rush though. When did he?
Timo Werner's great, but he misses a lot of chances. It's just a good job that he does score some. Otherwise, I think people would be getting a bit annoyed with him. Ben Chilwell, we know how good he is. And
Yeah, brilliant.
Kai Havertz, we still haven't seen enough of yet. And Edouard Mendy, I've already sang his praises one too many times on this show.
Yes.
For Newcastle, same old story, I think, where it's one of them where we talk about frustration and everything that's going on around them. But, you know, with the form Chelsea have been in and the fact that the signings have started purring now and there is such a fluidity to play and shape and stuff like that, I think it was only ever going to go one way. Excuse me, for me. I don't know about you guys.
I thought it was going to be a Chelsea win, to be honest. I mean, I can't remember our predictions, I think.
No, we're very guilty of not checking before.
We need to write it down.
Yeah.
We need to start writing them down as we do them. Then we can refer
Yes.
back.
What I'll do is after the show, I'll get a Google Docs document and write our predictions down and see if we were right or not.
Now, there is something that I actually want to discuss if you guys don't have anything. I said about the fluidity of play, and one of the big things about the fluidity of play is the versatility of midfielders and the forward line as well. You know, we've seen Ziyech deployed in different positions, Werner through the middle, Werner on the wing, Abraham through the middle, Abraham through the wing, Mount on the wing, Mount in the middle, Pulisic, you know, as like a second striker, Pulisic on the wing. You know, what Frank has done has really given forwards license. And I read something the other day about Tammy Abraham and his goal, not so much his goal scoring output, but his assists and the assists he's been getting, as well as the goals he has been scoring. And I've heard somebody say, like, he literally is putting himself into a point where in this, you know, sea of stars or galaxy of stars, he is really undroppable.
Yes,
and,
I would agree with that.
I think Tammy Abraham has only scored 3 goals this season, but I'm sure he's got something like 5 or 6 assists. 4 or 5 assists, which for a striker, he's really good.
I think it just shows there's not an over-reliance on him. You know, you say that the striker and midfielders interchanging. For me, you want your back, obviously, goalie in one position, and your backline to be in sync in one position. I don't know if Jordan agrees in the main, and also your defensive mid. You want to have pretty set positions.
Yeah.
When I say pretty set, I just mean in terms of the shape.
You know,
But if you can get your forward players to, and from forward players I mean attacking midfielders, wingers, strikers to interchange, so that they're not easy to mark and they can all swap positions, then that's got to be that's what we were always told. You know, when I played my football, we had players that were you know, played against players that were dead solid, would not sit in the same position, but would cover the same areas of the pitch, defend well, but then your expressive players, you want them to be able to entertain.
Even when we were playing wheelchair basketball, we were taught how to attack. We were also taught how to defend, and how to make yourself open and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember those kinds of lessons, Sam, passing and moving, and how to properly defend, how to set up like screens defensively, and it's so important if you've got players that can do both, like we said about Chilwell a million and one times. So yeah, it looks good. I still refuse to join the hype train, but Chelsea, much like the likes of Spurs, making themselves a real force at the moment.
Yes.
And long may it continue, because I think all these people saying that Frank Lampard doesn't have a plan. I think we will. It is going to be a big test for Chelsea against Spurs on Sunday, and it's one that's really hard to call.
A good one, yeah.
Especially because in terms of the last 30, 35, in terms of the last 30 to 35 years, overall, Chelsea have had the number over Spurs, but in the last couple of years, it's really on a knife edge. Spurs will win one, Chelsea will win one, Spurs will win one, Chelsea will win one, or they'll draw.
Since Pochettino came in, that's the way it's been.
Yeah, so really interesting. And if Thiago Silva does sign, which I'm sure he will, because he's showing no signs of, he has to miss the occasional game, but he's 36. In terms of defensively, he's showing no signs of struggling or slowing down.
You've got to be cautious, though. Just wait until the end of the season, see how he is, and then offer him a new contract if he's good.
That's why. But they probably didn't bring him in to play every game. They recognise he can't do that. But when he does play, he'll be primed and ready and quality when he plays.
Yeah, 100% agree and believe in that. For Newcastle, again, it's one of them where every conversation about Newcastle turns into this kind of toxic conversation about the ownership and where the ownership and the future of Steve Bruce and what's going on at the club. And it's nothing that we can say that we haven't said already.
Yeah, it feels like we've said all we wanted to say about Newcastle.
I don't mind talking about Newcastle. I really don't. I adore the history. They've had some really brilliant teams over the years, really brilliant managers. My only point being is that once you strip the history away and you look at where they are now, it's very much the same conversation every time.
Yeah.
All I'd say is, obviously, as a Newcastle fan, you'd want a rich owner to come in, but they moan about being mid-table in the Premiership, which, with the tradition and history of the club, they probably should be further up. But be careful what you wish for. You look at their neighbours, Sunderland, massive club, Sunderland, struggling down in League One for the third consecutive season, fourth.
Maybe even fifth.
Third.
No, it's not.
No, not third. I think it's either second or third. Actually.
No, it's not the second, it's third.
Look how many managers they've been through, more than Chelsea.
Right, well, they had two.
Sunderland. You want about Sunderland?
Since they got relegated to League One, they've only had two managers.
Oh yeah, because they had Jack Ross, then
and Phil Parkinson.
Yeah.
There's somebody before that. Sorry, isn't there? There is someone before that.
It was.
Go on, Bracken.
Anyway, we'll look that up. But anyway, I understand the point, and I think you're right.
The point I'm just making is look at where they are
Well,
terms of
we have seen Newcastle in the Championship before, and
no, but I mean Sunderland. I mean Sunderland going down to League One is almost as big as when City got relegated to League
Chris
Yeah.
Coleman.
One.
Chris
Coleman.
Coleman.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, to basically to summarise, Chelsea looking good again.
Yeah.
Newcastle, same old story.
Yeah.
Um,
I just hope Mike Ashley finally sells the club.
who knows?
Thank God
Mike-
United don't have an owner like him.
No, they've got even worse.
Well, no, but they don't seem to interfere.
The
Which
Glazers,
is-
Yeah, but well, we're in about £300 billion of debt or something ridiculous.
yeah, at least you actually see Mike Ashley go to games. At least sometimes you can actually tell he supports Newcastle as a club, and as a business investment, sure. But the Glazers have only been to watch United, 5 times in however many years he's been there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not often you see the Glazers there.
So, for me, the United situation is even more toxic. And you ask a United fan,
Well,
they probably
I
agree
don't
with that.
think I don't think it's as toxic as the Newcastle one.
No. Because
there
they
is
really,
money
really hate
there.
Mike Ashley.
I think what you mean by toxic is the club is in more danger. You could argue than Newcastle is as a business. But
The way that United are run, there's no way they're ever going to be anywhere near they want to be, to me, under the Glazers. Whereas with Mike Ashley, I think it's just his ownership alone controls spending, controls what they do,
Yeah.
and I think it's shown.
Well, he
overall.
is one man. He
Yeah.
did make a good point that people go on about him not putting his hand in his pocket, but he can't compete with countries.
No, it's true.
People that own
And
countries.
my opinion of him is still pretty horrible, but I think with the amount of money he has shelled out for Steve Bruce, and he's put a lot more into the club over the last couple of years.
Yes,
So
I mean, with Callum
I
Wilson
appreciate
and...
that.
yeah.
He spent 40 million on Joe Linton.
Who is mostly not delivered on that.
Yeah, but at the time, Joe Linton was like the next Firmino. And
Apparently I heard that he didn't pull any trees up at Hoffenheim.
I don't know. What I've seen of him, he did very, very well. I like the look of Joe Linton. He wasn't Firmino standard, but he was very good. He was good enough to play in the Prem, good enough for a mid-table team, not good enough as Firmino, where he just stepped into Liverpool and that was it. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to talk about the next game.
Yep, let's move on.
So obviously next was Aston Villa and Brighton.
Yes.
Well done, Brighton.
Yes, well done, Brighton. We've been saying on this show, Brighton, they've deserved a win. They really have, the way they've been playing.
It is something we have drilled in. It's another one of those things that it's something that we seem to have talked about a lot.
Yeah.
We like Brighton. We like the style of play, and we think that eventually they will come good, which I agree with. And obviously, it's nice to
Especially
be.
if they can get Danny Welbeck firing. And
It's
Stick
nice
with
to
Graham
have,
Potter as well, I think.
it's nice to have that sort of suspicion or that thought vindicated by the fact that they have picked up the win.
Yes.
And I was listening to bits and bobs of the game, and it did seem like they definitely deserved the win. And as a manager, there is a gap in class between the clubs at the bottom and the clubs at the top.
Yes.
But every point counts. Every point counts because the gap only ever seems to get bigger. So every point counts.
apart from when Leicester won the league.
Yeah, but that was a number of amazing different factors, which I'm not saying couldn't happen again.
They were the best team in the league, though, that year.
Yeah, the most fun, just enjoyable in general.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Welbeck, as a player.
Love him. You know my views on him.
When he was fit and firing, which is probably about 2 or 3 seasons in the early 2010s to mid 2010s, alongside like Rooney and Van Persie. Truly, I thought a great prospect. No matter what happened to him at Arsenal, always stayed very consistent goal scoring wise for Arsenal.
Well, he didn't play a lot of minutes, did he? Over the years he was there, but still scored some good goals.
No, but I mean, like, in terms of him as a player,
I agree.
He always pulled it out of the bag for England, which obviously, as an England fan, you first and foremost, despite whatever Premier League thing, we are England fans because we are English. So, it's always good to see an English player performing well. And
he was one of our best players with Lallana.
He gets a lot of incredibly bad press because of his goal scoring record. But I think if you marry up his goal scoring record with his injury record, he's actually not even done that bad. And that for me is what I would like to call the Welbeck problem, because unless he's because of how well he did do at that time when he was scoring goals, it's always going to be, well, why isn't he scoring those kinds of goals? Why isn't he scoring that volume of goals all the time?
Yeah.
But there's more to him than that. More to him.
I also agreed with that, because I think whenever he played on the wing for England, I felt like he did very well as a winger as well. And I think we've seen like Theo Walcott do the same of being able to play through the middle and play out wide. It's a really useful skill for
actually a very good physical presence for Brighton when you think about it as well. Because apart from they've got a lot of smallish players in the team that are very technical, and actually they've got him that they can play the ball up to, but he's got quality as well.
They are missing the big man for me. They have a lack of that. And I think, like, obviously they had Glenn Murray. They had in the Premier League and in the Championship they had Leo Ulloa, who I don't know if any of you ever watched Leo Ulloa for Brighton in the Championship, but he was an unbelievable player.
He played for Leicester, didn't he, as well?
Even before that, you're talking
he's a
about
title winner.
Yeah. Even before that, you're talking about Luciano Becchio, Craig McHale-Smith.
Yeah.
Absolute born goal scorers. I think McHale-Smith scored 30 in a season for Brighton that year.
Ooh.
I think it was when Zola was Watford manager.
Yeah, it was about 2013, something like that.
And obviously, in most recent memory, like I said, Glenn Murray. So, that has always been one of the staples of Brighton. Their identity as a club in the last 10 years.
Because they've not got as many big men and they've got more technical, Brighton play better football, but there's still lack a bit of size. You could argue that's the problem with Man City, partly. The great players, don't get me wrong, but they lack a bit of. They're all small.
There are one too many Man City problems for me.
There's
we'll
loads,
get there.
yeah.
We'll get there, but I think that is one of the. It's all about technical footballers at City, and it has been for a long time.
Yeah.
You get rid of the likes of Zabaleta and company and players like that. You're missing that physical presence.
Well, Arsenal had it. When they got rid of them and Keown and Campbell left and Vieira. you know, they replaced them with very good players, but they were just technical players, not physical as well. So.
I think there's nothing wrong with having players that are very technically gifted, but
No,
I think
but you have to have a balance, is what I'm saying.
no. What I was gonna say is that like that strong, willing kind of player is like quintessential to the English game.
As technical players are, you've got to have a mixture. There's no point having too much of one, otherwise your team becomes top heavy.
Within that, like we said, with Welbeck and Lallana and players like Ben White and Matt Ryan is a very underrated goalie.
Small as well is quite agile.
The midfielder Basuma, I really like.
Yeah, he's got a bit of aggression. I quite like.
Yeah, there are a lot of players within that Brighton team that they're also like. And I think you look at Welbeck and you look at Lallana, Maupay as well. Really, considering the amount of teams that are after him, is a real coup.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd get Maupay.
It seems to all be going good for them in terms of actually following Graham Potter's message and understanding it.
I like the style as well, but they seem to have a clear identity.
They've bought into it, and it's basically. I really like, and this is something that I've learned. I know Football Manager is only a game, but it very much follows principles that real life principles. As a manager, you can either stick or twist, and he very much has stuck to his guns tactically, obviously to great effect in hindsight because of his career.
Yeah,
and he took on a side that were played completely the opposite to what he believes in.
Yeah.
So credit to him for that. It's not like he went to say let me give you an example of a good passing team. Of a mid-table passing team in the Premier League.
Southampton,
yeah. It's not like he went to a Southampton. He went to a side that were very notoriously, because of the manager obviously, but were very notoriously long ball, would hoof the ball quite a bit. So he didn't make his job easy for himself. Look good on him.
Solly March's goal. Did we see it or not?
I've not seen it now.
Scream. Bless you.
I've always liked
If you haven't seen it, a screamer. An absolute screamer. Also, very sadly, in the 91st minute, Tariq Lamptey got sent off.
Yes, he did. I bet Sam was in tears.
Yeah. Well, I was happy Brighton won, but yeah, he's a young lad, isn't he? So I don't know what he did.
It's gonna happen. Especially, he has got that aggression in his game, which is one of the reasons why, personally, why I like him.
What did he get sent off for?
I think it was 2 yellows.
Oh, right. It's not that bad.
Yes, it was 2 yellows, to make a red.
So, Villa, it sort of dropped off just a little in recent times.
Not surprising though. They had a great start. So
their winning run was always gonna, have inconsistency. Obviously, they lost. And then they battered Arsenal, and I don't think Arsenal actually played that bad that night. I think Villa just played ridiculous football.
Remember when they battered Liverpool as well, 7-2?
They have got a lot of players that are inexperienced in the higher parts of the table.
Yeah.
And that, that sort of thing will come in time. If, I feel like Dean Smith being a Villa fan, his dad was a steward there, all that sort of things. That sort of passion, that's what's keeping them where they are, and I love that.
But you look at Villa. I mean, progress for me as a manager is season upon season. So progress for Villa this year at the start of the year would have been 16th in the table. And that is progress with a better points tally. But you know, you look at the start they made and where they are now compared to where they were this time last season. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
So Dean Smith must be.
One thing I just thought about that we forgot to do in terms of tables is just to go back to Chelsea and Newcastle. The win for Chelsea propels them into third. Obviously, they were top at the end of play after their game, and Newcastle into 14th. Yeah,
last kick of the dice for Brackley, by the way.
Newcastle into 14th, which is kind of their level at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when the majority of teams around them as well have, you know, 1 or 2 games in hand. You know, United, Villa, City, Burnley.
It's all over.
United, Villa, City, and Burnley have 2 games in hand, and the rest of the league, apart from Newcastle and Palace, all have 1 game in hand. And talking about Villa and Brighton, the win for Brighton puts them up to 16th and puts Villa into 7th. So still good progress for Villa. I wouldn't. A lot of the conversation when I saw that they were getting beat was, you know, they've done well, but you know they are the team that they are, and
yeah.
So I'm not saying they're going to be safe though. They could still get dragged into it.
No, we've seen it happen where teams have dropped off dramatically. And I don't want that because Villa to me are one of those teams. You know, you think about the early '90s under Big Ron and the likes of John Gregory, people like that.
Aston Villa are one of the founder members of the league.
So, you know, you never want to see them be in that position. And I don't think they will be. I think because they have got enough quality to do so, to stay in and around the area where they are.
I'm not sure 7th. I'm not sure 7th.
I don't think so either. Anything else before we move on to Tottenham and City?
No.
Are Brighton capable of putting a little run together, or are they just a bit too inconsistent?
Well, it is what we saw from them, you know, last season. They could do that. They could go a couple of games winning a game and then they'd lose like 5 in a row. You know, ultimately they finished last season with their best ever Premier League tally. We were talking about progress just now. And, you know, Potter has progressed Brighton. You know, the best ever points tally. They got 41 points last season. And again, progress for them would maybe be like 50 points. You know, I think they're capable of that with Lallana and Welbeck. They can get them firing. For me, it is just like you said, Sam. It's the consistency. So hard to find consistency in the Premier League in general, but as we've seen with so many teams during this pandemic, and
it's been a strange season.
Just to go off topic of the actual games, a 25% increase from this point last season on muscle injuries.
Excuse me.
On what? Sorry.
On muscle injuries.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up actually at some point, but I'll do it now. At the beginning of the season, I was a big advocate for going back to 3 subs. I didn't see why there was a big clamour, but having seen what I've seen at the start of this season, I think for this season with the congested period and the fact we've got the Euros for most players coming up, I think they should go back to 5 subs. The EFL have done it. So I think I was against it, but I've seen sense on it.
And I agree. I think from a player's well-being point of view, it's got to happen.
Yeah.
The thing is, the reason I thought not at first is I'm very much a traditionalist. So we talked about FA Cup replays. I think before we came on air and whether they should be scrapped. And I'm a very, very traditionalist. There's like the talk of scrapping 5 set of tennis in Grand Slam. That's what makes Grand Slams amazing.
That's like an unbelievable. That it kind of shakes the fundamentals of tennis as a sport in a way.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm very much a traditionalist, and I was with the sub thing. But I just think that to protect players' welfare for this season and throughout the rest of the pandemic, however long that goes on for, and seeing the muscle injuries.
And ultimately, as well, players' careers, which is important. Because look at Van Dijk's, for example, Van Dijk's injury could have been a lot worse than it was.
I've heard that he's back in training. I don't know how true that is.
Maybe he is. God knows. The man is a machine. We do know this. Over time, we've learned a lot about Virgil van Dijk. I still remember him as the Celtic scoring centre half.
He got 15 goals. He got 15 goals one season in his first year there.
Seems like so long ago since his Celtic days. So to move on to the next game.
You alright there, Will? You alright?
Yeah, good.
Something's obviously caught him. Something's caught him because he keeps giggling.
Excuse me.
So obviously then the next game, Tottenham-Man City. It was, a good old-fashioned Mourinho, Guardiola. We're used to them from La Liga, and then from obviously Man City versus Chelsea, Man City versus United, Man City versus Tottenham again.
Tactical masterclass from Jose Mourinho.
A born winner against the best manager in the world.
Yeah.
Two iron giants against each other. 11 players on the pitch. All have had up and down seasons. Tottenham definitely favoured the better recently.
Good win last night as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was Jose Mourinho has been quite attacking with Spurs, but I think he realised that he couldn't be as attacking, otherwise he would have got done by City. So it was a classic Jose Mourinho, not portable, so that's the wrong word, but it was a defensively solid, let's go and take our chances in the game, and that was classic Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, and Tottenham good value for the win.
Lo Celso, I tell you what, for a super sub, that was pretty amazing.
Harry Kane, though, again, what is doing him? I saw a stat at half time in the in that match, and Harry Kane had made the most tackles out of any Tottenham player at half time.
Got more goals than got more assists than he has goals this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's not a bad thing though. Sharing it.
No, I think that's great. That's why I mentioned it. I think that's really good.
I also just want to say as well, lads, obviously Son has always been a good player, but I'm only just really appreciating how good he is, Son.
Let me just update you with something. There's no real good place to put this, but Newcastle have beaten Crystal Palace 2-0. Goal from Callum Wilson in the 88th minute, assisted from Joe Linton, and then Joe Linton in the 89th minute, assisted by Callum Wilson.
That's funny.
So, talk a lot about Newcastle, but sometimes, they're one of the most inconsistent teams in the league, I think.
So were Palace, I think, as well.
And we can talk about that afterwards, obviously.
That's mid-table syndrome again.
Yeah.
mid-table sides are inconsistent.
Yeah, Lo Celso, to go back to Lo Celso, Lo Celso is one of the most underrated players in that Tottenham team. And I think, recognition of his form comes at a good point. Ndombele's found his feet now. Kane and, you can't stop talking about Kane and Son.
They're both wonderful together.
They've overshadowed, the big heroic Gareth Bale return, which is saying something because, pandemonium, wasn't it? Seems like so long ago now since the transfer window shut.
Yeah.
Feels mad to think that it was only about 6 weeks ago.
And it's not long. It's not long till the next transfer window opens.
No, that's also true. For Tottenham, there's a hell, and I mean a hell of a lot of talk about them as serious title contenders, and I believe it. I'll be honest. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not for them?
They always seem to bottle it though, don't they? Something seems to go wrong.
I think they are title contenders. Whether they are title challengers, we've certainly got the squad, but as Will said, with Tottenham, and then you do have no disrespect to Pochettino because I love him, and I think he's as good as Mourinho. But Mourinho is a serial winner, so if anybody was going to win a title with these players, it might not be the prettiest, but it'd be him.
I think Mourinho and Pochettino were good managers in different ways. Pochettino was a developer, brought through Harry Winks, Harry Kane.
Technically, Tim Sherwood gave Harry Kane his opportunity.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the lethal goal-scoring machine, it was Pochettino. Dele Alli, already said Harry Winks, of course. I'm trying to think.
Look how far
more.
Dele Alli's fallen.
But he hasn't though, because he's still playing in Spurs' team.
He's not. He wasn't on the bench or in the squad for the.
He scored last night.
Oh well.
Did he celebrate?
I don't know.
In the Europa League, but he's not.
Then you think about like Eric Dyer. Then you look at the young lads as well. Ryan Mason came through because of Pochettino, and obviously Sherwood and stuff. Osh Onema, yeah. Oliver Skip.
Where's he?
He's at Norwich on loan. He's doing quite well from what I've seen. Obviously, Norwich top of the championship at the minute.
Yeah.
I like Oliver Skip.
Yeah, seems like a very good player, doesn't he?
He just skips a bit too much. I like
Japhet Tanganga. I know he was a Mourinho, but we're talking about young Spurs players. They have got the team as a lot
Troy
of.
Parrott.
Yeah, but he's obviously on loan at Millwall. But yeah, I don't know whether he's played much. I don't think he's scored yet.
They've got the squad. They've got the squad now to win the league.
Yeah.
Yes. Whether they will, it's a completely.
Is it
well,
Luke Amos? He's another one, I think.
I want to say, I'm sure Amos has gone to Q. I'm sure Amos plays for QPR.
I'll check.
But it is definitely that first 11, and that first 11 and the substitutes could win the league. But if you put the substitutes all in, without bits of that first 11, I think you lose Son and you lose Kane, and that's one of the problems. You lose Son and you lose Kane. Who've they got?
Yeah, the options are a bit limited.
That's my only thing with Spurs. I think it's like you talk about Man United lose Bruno Fernandes. Lose Rashford. Who've they got?
They'd be screwed. They would.
Even Chelsea take Thiago Silva out, take Timo Werner out. Yeah, they're doing a lot better now, but you'd still worry.
Yes.
Arsenal. Well, I can't really say Arsenal take out Aubameyang because he's only scored 2 goals this season anyway.
If you took out Kieran Tierney, he'd be a huge miss for them.
Yeah, but not as big as a natural goal scorer like Aubameyang. We've seen it with City. Take Aguero out. Take Jesus out.
Yeah. Plus Sane's gone now.
Yeah, but that's it's a little bit different, isn't it? 'Cause to me, if they leave, that's different.
Oh, okay.
If a player still wants to play but they're injured. It's why I never think of Paul Pogba as a big miss for United. Because whenever he's around and about, it's the Paul Pogba show, and that's just not good.
No, it's time for him to go.
But no, I completely agree that Spurs could do it, but I don't think that they have the depth all in all to do it.
No.
Will they do it? Champions League, I think they'll get. If they carry on how they have done, Champions League for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and I think City will recover to get Champions League. I think Liverpool will get Champions League, and I think Chelsea as well. I don't think Man United. I don't think Arsenal. It depends with Leicester, but for me, I just can't get the Man City winning the league out of my head. So I just think that you look at their team when they're all available.
When they're all firing, it's just whether they're capable this year, whether they can be consistent.
And the one thing that's good for City and for all the top teams that are struggling at this point is none of the teams are really firing. The only absolutely consistent teams at the minute are like Chelsea, Southampton, but they won't stay where they are. Chelsea, Southampton, Leicester in a league are very good. Tottenham. So, you know, there's only a couple that are playing good football and getting results. You've got United who are playing bad and getting results. City who are playing well and then coming apart and not getting results. So it's just a difficult to predict kind of situation.
It's going to be it's still going to be a weird season, isn't it?
As we've said 1,000,001 times. In terms of that, obviously took Spurs to first at the time. They're obviously second now. And for Man City languishing in mid-table still. I just want to talk a little bit about Pep Guardiola signing a new deal. What do we think?
Yeah, probably the right move to see if he can win this.
I don't know. I feel it's a rather end of an era for Man City, personally.
Not really. That's 2 more years.
Yeah, I'm not sure signing the new contract. I think they should have waited, really, personally.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. That's what I would have done, because he's bloody Pep Guardiola. You know, imagine if he got to January and he hadn't signed a contract in some big super club like, I don't know, PSG or something like that. So he can go off and win another title in another league, or Juventus. Because, you know, they're not doing it probably as well as they'd want to under Pirlo, are they?
No, they're not even. They weren't even. They were 4th or something, which is not.
That's still the Champions League place, though.
Are they not doing very well? I didn't realise.
It's just a lot of like the Juventus winning every week. You don't really see. It's just like Juventus win a lot, but then they draw or they lose to like a team that's around them. And so yeah, that's I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys covered it. I wasn't involved. Man United v West Brom. We're gloss over this one a little, do you think?
Yeah, we don't need to go into...
I'll give you my opinion on the decisions and the problems. West Brom should have had a penalty based on what I believe the law to be, because my understanding of the penalty law was even if the man gets the ball but still takes a considerable amount of the man, it's a penalty.
No.
No, but that's what we get told the law is. That's the problem. I'm not going to have a conversation about referees. He took the man though.
But he got. Which one are you saying? The West Brom one was a penalty.
The West Brom one was a penalty. He took the man.
I'm not defending United, but I do think if you play the ball, how can it be a pen?
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Because when you're sliding in, your momentum's gonna take you into somebody, even if you do win the ball cleanly.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Benefit of the doubt of that. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been a penalty, because I've always believed that even if you get a little bit of the ball, you've still got the ball anyway. That's my belief. I agree that it's not. However, what my understanding of the law was, if you get the ball but you still take, it's still a hefty challenge, and you take quite a lot of the man, which he did, then it's a penalty. Ultimately, it wasn't given, and that's that. The West Brom, the Man United penalty decision, by the way, absolutely dreadful, because Semi Ajayi's not even looking at the ball. His hand is away from the ball. His back is to the ball. How on God's green earth you can give that as a penalty? Oh dear me.
The West Brom one was more of a penalty than the Man United one.
And then there's the second thing of, Sam Johnston encroaches. You're not allowed to do it. Supposedly it's been drilled into all goalkeepers, but it's something that's been left unpenalised. Yeah, it's been left unpenalised for a long time now. So, a goalkeeper that's 27, 28, like Sam Johnston is not just going to be able to understand that overnight. Fair enough. Ultimately, United got away with one, and as they continue to do, but they're still winning games.
Yes.
So, as a United fan, and as United fans, to you guys, I guess the thing is, are you unhappy or happy?
Not
overall,
really happy.
I don't just mean, the happiness is winning the games, but I would rather lose every game and get relegated, but play great football, than win every game and play shit football.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
And I know what that's like, because you had like Big Sam going into clubs and doing wonderful jobs with Bolton, with I'm trying to think, West Ham, but fans were always slagging him off.
I hope to God he doesn't come back.
He will. Somebody like him, somebody that's a proven manager at getting teams out of leagues, somebody like him will come back. There's no way. Even if it's just a last hurrah. Pulis is back as the Wednesday manager. So,
yes, Gary been sacked.
Yeah, he was bound to go, wasn't he? He was bound to go.
Another boring manager.
Gary Monk.
Oh
no, sorry, I thought you were on about Tony Pulis.
No, he's just got his style.
Yeah. And for me, Tony Pulis is capable of playing good football as well. I think that it just gets lost in a lot of the formative years for Stoke in the Premier League. The Rory Delap long throw into the box, big physical.
I loved him.
6'6" like Peter Crouch and Mamadi Sidibe and Abdoulaye Faye and Kenwyn Jones, Cameron Jerome, big, tall, lanky strikers who could only score headers and tap-ins, and Like that's just not. That wasn't even the way that Stoke were playing towards the end of Pulis. But you know, that's my opinion. Um,
We're
I've
ready to
completely
move
lost.
on.
I've completely lost the point. But the point being, in a one simple answer or one sentence, are you happy with where United are at the minute? Because they are winning a lot.
Yes and no.
I'll
No,
tell you what. I'll
no,
let you finish your point. Well, I was
go
gonna
on,
say
Will.
I'll let Sam go first, but in
No, go
fairness to
on,
you,
Will.
Will, I'll let you go first.
Yes and no, because obviously, if you've got to get the balance right. All in all, football is a results game. So if they do,
No, but we're not playing well. Carry on, Will. Sorry.
if they, if 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 they still get results but still play badly, then that's not great to watch. But at least it's getting something. When you're not getting the results but playing that style, that's when it's not great at all. It's just trying to find that balance right.
I don't know. And this is all I'm gonna say before I let Sam speak. As somebody who likes to see good football, and if I'm seeing good football, I don't really care about the result.
Especially when you're a big club.
Yeah,
I think when you're a smaller club, you do what you can to survive in a league. But when you're a bigger club, you're expected to play good football because you have the better players. So,
that being said, take nothing away from United's league position, but there's no way any United supporter, apart from Will apparently, is going to be happy with scraping games 1-0 against West Brom.
no,
Who,
because we'll lose. We'll come unstuck soon enough. I would rather lose every. Loving mum, you have a lovely too. I would rather sleep that. No, yes. Um, I would rather lose every game playing good football. Because if you play good football, the performances will come before. Sorry, the results will come if the performances are good. Where if the performances are not there, then you're gonna sooner or later you're gonna suffer.
yeah, I agree. I think Will was telling me a story about the stats of Bruno Fernandes last season. No, this season so far, and this is prior to the Istanbul game, by the way, that was in midweek, and it was something like 6 goals and 3 assists, and about 4 of them have been penalties, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The only goals I've seen him score from open play were the 2 against Everton.
Yes.
And me, Will, and Dunkno had a really interesting conversation. That penalties don't show the quality of the player, which I agree with. I agreed with in the context that we were talking about it, because the one thing they do show is obviously determination and strength of character, but in terms of actual physical, skill and ability, it doesn't show too much. And for me, 2 goals from open play and 3 assists for the talismanic second coming of Jesus, Bruno Fernandes, just isn't good enough. But I don't think it's his fault. I think it's to do with the style.
The team's not playing well, so
This is the
he's
point that
not.
I made to Will. If you think about it, if Maguire was doing what he does well as a ball playing defender, if Fred had a more reliable midfield partner, let's say if Pogba was playing well, Then you've got if Wan-Bissaka was making, great runs and in good form, and either Telles or Shaw. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Shaw in his heyday is better than Telles. But I am an Alex Telles fan, but I can never get the images of Luke Shaw absolutely having Ashley Cole on toast for Southampton against Chelsea.
To be fair, Ashley Cole was right at the end of his career.
Yeah, but he still had a lot of pace, even towards the end.
When I say his career, I mean his career at Chelsea.
Yeah, he still had a lot of pace though, from what I'd seen of him. And then you look at, like I said, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes on top form, Martial on one side, Rashford on another, and Cavani. If they're all playing if they're all playing as well as they could do, United would storm the league.
Yeah.
That's
no, we wouldn't storm the league. There's no way we'd storm the league.
But as you've said to me 100,000,001 times, and I agree with it, football is not just about on paper. Because if you look at the stats of those players, just the numbers, not like as in goals scored and chances, goals scored over their career and stuff like that, United are head and shoulders above anybody other than maybe City or Liverpool. And it's just they will come unstuck in the end because luck runs out eventually, and for United for weeks now, if not months, it has been luck.
Yes, it has. It's not been Fergie time, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I would still stand by my assumption that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be in the job at the end of the season, even though he's done nothing to show that he's good enough. But we did say we were only going to brush over it, and I'm sure we spent a good 10 minutes on it.
How about West Brom?
West Brom, from what I've seen, it really looks like they're starting to find feet. Conor Gallagher had a great game.
And Sam Johnston was terrific.
Yeah, and Sam Johnston could be playing himself into Southgate's thoughts, maybe.
Yeah.
I think we got too many good keepers.
Yeah. Because if it was me, I would go. Pickford has to go to the Euros because he's experienced at tournaments. Pickford has to go.
Even if you don't have him as number one, he has to go.
Pickford has to go. Pope has to go. for me, it would be, do you go for Dean Henderson because he's a talent, but he probably won't play that much? I don't think.
No.
Or
Alex
do you go
McCarthy.
for I'm glad you said that because that was going to be my shout. Or do you go for Alex McCarthy, who's just, I don't even know what drugs he's on this season, but he's playing great. If Sheffield United can turn stuff around and start with some form, you could even talk about Aaron Ramsdale, who I quite rate him. But
No, he's no Dean Henderson.
No, but in the same breath, you can't choose a player for England that you're seeing, on a wet Tuesday night in Luton, can you really? Talent alone does nothing. If Raheem Sterling hadn't played all season because Guardiola didn't fancy him, would you still play him?
No, apparently, Dean Henderson's put in a transfer request because he was told he was going to be number one.
Yeah,
and
I would too.
There's rumours he's put in a transfer request even though he's just signed his contract.
And I tell you what, other than
what do
maybe
you make of that, Will? What do you make of that, Will? Just quickly.
Well,
if that is true.
I could understand him wanting to make a transfer request because he's not played that much.
Other than your Man City have got a really established number one with Edison, Arsenal have got a really established number one, Tottenham, Liverpool, you could probably
Go back to Sheffield. Oh no,
Yeah.
Sheffield United.
I don't think he'd go there. I think if I was him, I'd go Everton.
Yeah, that'd be a good
I'd go
move
to
for him.
Everton, or I would try and push Mendy out at Chelsea.
No, there's no chance when you've got Kepa there as well.
Yeah, but I think Kepa's gonna go.
Yeah, but he's not gonna go while all those keepers are there, and Mendy's only just gone.
Yeah, and he is very good, Mendy. I was just saying, if I was Dean Henderson, that's what I would do.
So you go to Chelsea and sit on the bench.
I would go to Chelsea knowing that I proved myself in a team that weren't expected to do anything in the Premier League, and then did it. But then I guess in terms of Mendy, he could say the same. Nobody expected Rennes to get into the Champions League, and they did. So it swings and roundabouts.
He played against them the other night.
Yeah, they did. Giroud scored the winner.
Absolutely.
To move on to the next.
He needs to
Giroud.
go to get football. Yeah.
There's talk about him going Juventus, isn't there? I've heard Juventus. I've seen to Milan.
Top player.
I've even seen going back to Arsenal because obviously Arteta played under it and played with him.
Yeah.
So the next game obviously was the first game on the Sunday. The first thing I want to bring up purely for Sam's benefit. Did you see that bit of Alex Iwobi's skill in the build-up to the first Everton goal?
I did.
It was unbelievable. Just like his uncle, JJ Okocha.
Yeah, well, always knew there was a player in there.
A return to form for Everton or a let-off because of obviously the penalty miss?
Well, there were three. Well, there was a let-off key moments in the game, weren't there? Fulham's penalty record.
Yeah. They even... poor Ivan Cavallero, he just wasn't having it, was he? He didn't look like scoring it, I didn't think.
No, he didn't look confident, did it, at all? But there's a miss, and then there's that.
But, you know, we've said it, but I said it about Fulham last week. To take the game to a side that have performed amazingly this season, Everton, I think Fulham are improving really well.
Yeah, and I like Scott Parker. Good manager.
But I also think it's come at a bad time, obviously, with Burnley getting a win, which we're going to talk about in a bit, and West Brom continuously seeming to pick up performances. You know, I think it sort of brings into focus when we argued with Will the other week, because Will was consistently saying, oh, West Brom are finished, Fulham are finished, because I really don't think they are. I think it looked that way. It looked like they were fish out of water, but it's not over yet.
No, it's nowhere near over. There's 30 games to go, or what? It's there's 30 games to go, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever, whatever it is. So you can't.
Something else I just wanted to point out as well. Two of the best players in the Everton team, Calvert-Lewin and Digne. Digne assisting Calvert-Lewin second goal and Doucouré's goal, and also two of the best players in the Fulham team. Two of the best players in the Fulham team, the captain Tom Kearney assisting Bobby De Cordova-Reid's goal, and Ademola Lookman assisting Ruben Loftus-Cheek's goal as well. For me as a Chelsea fan, good to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek doing well. Not so happy he joined Fulham because they literally are like I went to Stamford Bridge, and you can see Craven Cottage from Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, well, they've obviously helped them out, haven't they?
Yeah, and they do. Chelsea do have Chelsea do have a history of doing that with Fulham, giving them players, or players from Chelsea always ended up finding a way at Fulham. I think of the first example that comes to my head, Damien Duff ended up at Fulham from Chelsea by way of Newcastle, of course. Over the years, Michael Hector obviously was at Chelsea. Of course, Loftus-Cheek, John Harley. So there have been a couple of players that have made that trip. We talked already about the importance of Lookman, so I don't want to do that, but I definitely do.
He played well.
Yeah, and I think he has transformed Fulham as a team, and showed what he can do. But I just think that they don't have that. Like we were on about Steele in the Premier League needing experience, and they just lack that Steele, I think, to see a game out.
Yeah, no, they do. Everton, you mean?
But both Fulham and Everton, because there have been times where obviously Fulham have been leading games and lost, and also Everton as well. I worry about them because it seems like the couple of losses that they've had recently seems to have affected them a little.
Yeah, of course it is. They're conceding goals, aren't they? So
they weren't amazing against Fulham, I didn't think.
No, they did just about enough in the end.
But sometimes as a top team, and maybe this contradicts my point about United, but I feel like it doesn't, all in all. As a top team, you do need to be able to grind out wins.
Yeah, of course you do. It's what they say about title winners. You there?
Yeah, I don't know why Will's being silent. I'll be back in a sec.
You're right, Will?
Yeah, yes. So I'm just trying to save my voice a little bit.
What do you reckon on Everton?
Well, I think Richarlison back, obviously, I think they've missed him. I think they'll be... I must admit I was surprised. I didn't expect Fulham to, for them to get their 2 late goals. No, I think Everton will be fine. I think they'll get back into the form that we saw before Richarlison was obviously suspended, and yeah.
Yeah, no, it's having Richarlison back is a massive bonus, because Everton have a good team, but they don't have a great squad, do they? So
no, they don't. Right, I think we'll just wait for.
No, let's keep going.
Oh, right, okay, right. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, don't wait. I'm ready now. Ready, right. Sorry about that. West Ham versus Sheffield United. Again, to me, due to current form, I could only have seen it going one way. Sebastian Haller scoring, which I'm pleased with.
Yeah.
Good goal as
good
well.
Finish as well.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen that it's the only it's the first goal he scored outside the box, according to this stat. The first goal he scored outside the box in 189 appearances in the Premier League and Bundesliga combined.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. West Ham look good. I'm not going to lie, they look good.
Yeah,
They're obviously a poor start to the season and all that being gone and trouble. Way, way, way behind them, which I'm glad of, because it was a bit of a faff.
It seems to have rallied them.
As it should, because it should annoy them. It should make them, sort of. It should do that. So I'm happy that it has. Sheffield United didn't play bad again, which I think is a shame, because there's just something missing. And as I've said before, I think it's because they haven't got a goal-scoring striker.
No.
Yeah, I know. They haven't got a natural person who's a bit like Danny Ings from Southampton. I know they're not down there at the moment, but having that person that can put the ball in the back of the net when you're scrapping.
I mean, Ollie McBurney can, but he does require the service, and that's the problem.
He's not done it for Scotland now, has he?
No, but as we know from Swansea, at that point he was one of the top goal scorers in England. He's when he was banging form for Swansea in the Championship, and then he brought it over to the Premier League, of course. I just don't know why it hasn't clicked for them. Obviously missing.
They're all very hard workers.
Yeah.
But if they're just slightly off it, then and something's not clicking, then it can it's a very fine line for Sheffield United, because they're not playing that much worse than they were last season. But it's just
I'd agree with that. Line. I think there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on, hasn't there? I think you look at it. O'Connell out for the rest of the season. Then Egan struggled with suspension and injuries, and then they're huge. And then Lundstrom turned the deal down. So there's a couple of things going on, and Chris Wilder's a good manager. He'll deal with it.
Lundstrom's still there at the moment, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he'll go. Because he was their best player last season. The only thing is, I think it's similar to the Pogba thing, but on a smaller scale. If you want to move away, you take your place in that team and you play out your skin. But
yeah, he couldn't get in the Championship, could he?
Yeah. I've seen him linked with Everton, which I think would be a really nice story, because obviously he was an Everton youth player.
Oh yes, he was. I thought it was Tranmere, but it was Everton, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I don't know. As we sit here and we think about things to say, I just have this instinct, and I'm sure it stays with you, Sam. I'm not sure about Will, because he just isn't optimistic at all. Sheffield United, for me, will stay up.
It'll be tight, but if I was a betting man, yes. Yeah. But I'm not saying they will stay up, because they could very easily go down. But,
I am a betting man, and I'd put money on them staying up.
I would too.
Do you want to? Are you ready? Will, have you got anything to say, or?
No, I'm ready to move on.
Sorry, guys, I'm falling asleep a bit here because I've had a long day, but carry on.
Yeah, we do need to pick the pace up, really. The latest I can go to bed is 11 o'clock, to be honest, because I'm in work tomorrow morning. Leeds 0, Arsenal 0. By all accounts, a great game.
It was a good game, yeah. Leeds, I mean, they They should have won that because there's so many chances.
What did Pepe actually do? I didn't see what he
He
actually did.
headbutted the Leeds player.
Why?
Oh, because of out of frustration.
And I think we should, quickly say, obviously, very, very straightforward, common sense, really.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're gonna stick your head into a player's chest, even if you tap it, it's violent conduct. It's a red card. There's intent there.
The intent's there.
You don't have to crack the ribs by giving them a Zidane in the bloody, And you're right. Leeds had the chances.
We saw it with Guendouzi. I was just going to say we saw it with Guendouzi. I wonder if his Arsenal days are numbered after doing that. 'Cause it's not like he was in favour, really, was it?
Yeah, but Guendouzi wouldn't have wanted to hurt Volpe there.
No, I'm not.
All he did was take the mick out of the fact that Guendouzi is on a mega millions contract and Morpay is probably still on a mega millions contract, but not a mega millions contract.
Isn't that what Guendouzi said to him?
Yeah, he turned around and said, "Do whatever you want, but I'm on such and such more than you."
Oh, is that what they said? Was it?
Yeah, and that's why didn't Morpay get him by the throat or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sure Morpay got banned as well.
Fans, then. So you must have watched it without the crowd noise then, because I didn't hear that.
No, because that's what Morpay said in the interview that Guendouzi said to him.
It seems like donkeys ago now.
And yeah, like you said, Leeds should have won. Arsenal will always have chances to kill the game. I've always said it. At their best, they play the best football in the Premier League, or the most attractive, not necessarily the best all round, but the most attractive football in the Premier League.
I don't think they do now.
Yeah, what I'm saying is at the best.
Saka needs to start for me because I think he's brilliant. His pace and he needs to start for me. Lacazette definitely not. I think he's too inconsistent. Aubameyang, yeah, I'm not even sure. Although he definitely does. Is more consistent than Lacazette. So, if I was Arsenal, I'd think I'd sell Lacazette. Yeah, I'd get rid of him.
No, I'd play him up front with Aubameyang.
Pepe, that's too easy. Get rid of him as well.
You don't give players much of a chance, do you? Well,
this is his second season, Sam. He is settled 72 million.
But you don't know he's settled, and the price tag has nothing to do with it. You don't know.
Yes, but
you don't know that the reason he headbutted that person wasn't from a build-up, from being upset about something, or you don't know what's going on in his mind. So you're right, players off.
Yeah, but Pepe rarely is shown to me anything that.
Yeah, but that's on the pitch. You don't see him in training.
Yeah,
that's true.
It. You don't get where you are by being poor.
You don't know what he's like as a person.
And I also think that throughout the course of this show and conversations off camera, you've shown to us that if it's not really United, you're not really interested. So, unless it's on Match of the Day, which does not reflect a full 90 minutes, by the way, on any shape or form, it'll give you a basic idea of the match.
Well, yeah, because they obviously have to edit the highlights so they can.
No, yeah, but you're missing the point. But okay, to me, I think it has to be that Pepe isn't settled. I think I've seen him at his best at Lille, and he's unbelievable. For me, it's got to be that he's not adapted to London lifestyle. Just fair enough.
All the league.
Yeah, all the league, because
Well, both.
as I've said to Will a million and one times, there are so many players that we've seen over the years that just don't adapt to the Premier League from any league.
Not a bad player. Falcao didn't really.
Di Maria come to Manchester after years and years of being a consistent performer, being seen as one of the best in the world because of what he did in the 13-14 season, and then obviously subsequently the World Cup. Di Maria, for me, warranted 60 million. Because, not on his performance at United itself, but on what he'd shown before that, I would have paid 60 million for Di Maria. Because to me, he was in that bracket of top quality player.
Yeah, I agree.
However, didn't work out. Fair enough.
But United were in transition. So.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And that was the weird thing about Van Gaal. He tried to mix years and years of experience with kids that had never played a senior game before. It was quite strange, but personally I thought he didn't do too bad at United, but that's my opinion. I was going to make a point about Leeds, but as you've said, and as we've said before, one, that's a mid-table side to be inconsistent, and two, the way they play does invite that inconsistent result. So, to be honest, I think we should move on to Liverpool.
Yep, okay.
And I really want to try and speed things up because I need to go to bed within real soon.
Okay.
I've seen the highlights of this. Johnny Evans' own goal was bizarre because I don't quite get how it goes in. Obviously off his head, but I think the ball comes in. He looks to find Mane, and as he turns his head to look, he flicks the ball in, which is about as unlucky as you're gonna get.
I know it was very very sad. Leicester weren't at the best, let's be honest.
No.
I know Liverpool played well, but they never really got started for me.
Obviously, a phenomenal header from Diogo Jota,
who's really settled. You're talking about
continues to write his own headlines, doesn't he? A little bit.
The first player to score in 4 consecutive home games for a new club, for a new player at Liverpool, I think I read the other day.
And then, Firmino getting a goal as well.
Getting a goal,
I'll tell you what, he should have scored another one as well. Did you see that one?
I felt sorry for him. There were so many where he was like, hit the bar, hit the post, then it came out to him, then he blazed it over, or he mishit it. I'm glad he got the goal because he deserved it because he had so many chances. Leicester weren't at the races, but I also think Liverpool, considering how we have seen Liverpool play this season, were playing very well.
I agree.
Considering they had no Salah as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've always said this, and I think over the course of the shows you can back me up. Salah is not as influential as Mane. The most influential of those front three are Firmino, because of his assist output and passes and tracking back, and Mane, because he is the pure goal scorer.
Not that I'd want to lose any of those players, but if there was one that I would listen to offers for of a high offer, it would be Salah.
I agree. Although I think you could make a good case for Firmino.
Nah,
because I think there's too many people out there that just look at his goal output.
Yeah, Yeah, he's not a natural striker.
But the
Yeah,
defensive or pressing forward, however you want to put it, is kind of very important to me in modern day football.
of course it is. You look at Okazaki in his later years. He's a bit like an upgraded version of Okazaki. For me, Firmino, I don't know if you can see the comparison, but
Yeah, but then I also feel like Okazaki did score a lot, but then I feel like slowly kind of just dissolved into a different kind of player.
no, he did. I get that, but I just mean like he'd get back and attack from the front, and that's something sorry, defend from the front, and that's something Firmino does very well.
No, you're right. You're right. Um, do we think that we can safely say Liverpool's starting to get back on track now?
Well,
Because
the
I feel like
second in the league,
I
aren't they?
feel
So,
like performance-wise, yeah, they've still done very well. Performance-wise, they've not been great.
They've been better than City, I think, out of the two teams.
well, obviously.
Yeah, but City have been pretty shocking.
Yeah.
The only game Liverpool was shocking in was that
7-2
one at
against
Aston
Villa.
Villa. But having said that, everything Villa hit did go in.
Yeah,
The deflections and all.
they were the definition of clinical, I think.
And they did get a bit of luck. I mean, they played very well.
So just to move on to Monday's game as well, we're nearly there now. We're getting to that. We're getting to that point, and like I've just sat on my bed and I'm like ready to sleep. So let's try and whiz through these last two games.
Okay.
Burnley won.
Are
Oh
there
my
only
God.
two left?
Yeah, Burnley won.
Oh, Burnley.
Who was it? I've only just read it and it's gone out mad.
Sheffield,
Burnley won. Palace 0. One that we thought was going to be a Palace win. Burnley played all right, from what I've seen.
Burnley were very Burnley-like.
I like Chris Wood, and I've always liked Chris Wood even since he was at West Brom. If you can remember that far back, was it West Brom? Or did he start at Leicester? I thought because I'm sure he started at West Brom.
I remember him in his Leicester days.
Yeah, I do too. Scored Leicester's first Premier League goal when they come back.
Do you remember that well?
West Brom? I don't think so,
No.
mate.
No, Chris Wood when he played for Leicester.
No.
How about when he played for Leeds?
Yes, because I remember Burnley getting him from Leeds. And I remember seeing his name on final score, scoring for Leeds.
I'm just gonna look that up. I'm absolutely certain he started at West Brom. Yeah, he did. He made his debut in the New Zealand Premier League and then went to West Brom. So that's all right. That's good.
He's a good average striker.
Much deserved based on what they've been doing recently. I think.
A bit. It's the kind of result I think Sheffield United need just to get them back on track.
Confidence booster.
Yeah, I mean, Ben. Go on. Sorry.
Go on, you finish, because I'm going to move on to Wolves and Southampton.
No, it's alright, I've said all I need to say.
The last thing I was going to say was Wolves versus Southampton, obviously, the standout point for me, for anyone, was Walcott coming back and scoring, and also the ridiculous miss. I
But
cannot. But that's the story of Theo Walcott's career.
there you are. That's what separates Theo from being a very good player to a great player.
So nearly could have been England's great striking hope, other than Rooney, but just can't find the consistency in terms of that goal scoring.
It's not even the goal scoring, it's just his decision making at times lets him down. He's like the nearly man and not the, you know.
Yeah.
100%. I agree completely.
Never
Wolves,
quite fulfilled his potential, even though he's had a very good career.
only once did I feel like when he scored 25 goals for Arsenal in 12-13. For Wolves, somebody that I rate quite a lot and doesn't get mentioned a lot from what I've seen, Pedro Neto.
You know what I say to that?
What?
Cornetto.
Oh God, here we go. And I think it was. I think it was a game between two sides that are at similar levels. And in terms of the table, there's only 3 points. I'm just ignoring you because it was that bad. 3 points separate. 3 points separate Southampton and Wolves.
It was a very good game, actually. That's the best I've seen Wolves play in the first half.
So I'm just gonna go through the table before we go with the predictions. At the top of the table, both with 20 points. Tottenham ahead on goal difference. Liverpool and Tottenham with 20 points. Joint third with Chelsea ahead on goal difference is Chelsea and Leicester on 18 points. Fifth is Southampton with 17 points. Sixth is Everton with 16 points. Seventh is Aston Villa with 15 points. Joint eighth is, eighth, ninth, and 10th, but when they've got the same points, I always say like joint. The joint eighth is West Ham, Wolves, and Newcastle, all on 14, with West Ham in 8th, Wolves in 9th, and Newcastle in 10th. Joint 11th, Man United, Arsenal, and Palace on 13, with Man United must be ahead on goals scored because we've got the same goal difference ahead of Arsenal and Palace in 13th. In 14th with 12 points is Man City. In 15th with 11 points is Leeds. In 16th with 9 points is Brighton. In 17th with 5 points is Burnley. And in 18th with 4 points is Fulham. In 19th with 3 points is Sheffield United. In 19th with 3 points is West Brom. And in 20th with 1 point is Sheffield United. Now, I'm sorry about that, by the way, that was awful. Now, for the predictions of this match week, we can't predict Crystal Palace Newcastle because it's already happened. So we're going to start off with Brighton at home to Liverpool. I'm going to go with
That was in the Premier League, wasn't it? I keep thinking that was in the FA Cup, but it wasn't.
Yeah. I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say, don't know. Liverpool don't tend to play too well against Brighton, to be honest. But I'd still go for a 3-1 Liverpool win.
2-1 Liverpool.
Sam?
What was it? Liverpool and sorry, I'm drifting in and out of sleep here.
Brighton at home to Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. We need to write these down.
Man City Burnley, 3 o'clock. We need to rush through. I've got 3 minutes. Man
2-0
City Burnley
City.
at 3 o'clock. I'm going to go 3-0 Man City.
2-0 City.
Sam?
Man City Burnley. 3-0 City.
Everton Leeds at 5:30.
Ooh.
That's
I'm
on
gonna
Sky,
go-
isn't it?
I'm going to go for... I'm going to say 4-2 Everton.
3-2 Everton.
3-1 Everton.
Yep. West Brom Sheffield United. Massive game.
1.
I'm going to say...
West Brom.
Sorry. 1-0 West Brom. I'm going to go with that. 1-0 West Brom.
1-0 Sheffield United.
Sunday, 4 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Fuck me. 2 o'clock. Southampton, Man United. I'm going to go for 1-0 Southampton.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Southampton.
3-0 Southampton.
4:30 Chelsea Tottenham.
3-1 Tottenham. Come on, Tottenham.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs.
3-2 Chelsea.
Arsenal Wolves at 7:15.
It's a difficult one, this.
I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves.
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Monday, 5:30 Leicester Fulham. I'm going to go 3-1
4-0
Leicester.
Gonna go 1-0 Leicester, I think.
And West Ham Villa, I'm going to go for West Ham 2-0 win.
2-1 Villa.
West Ham Villa. 0-0 draw.
Yeah, I've got a little... Thinking about it, I've got a draw written all over it. I'm going to go for 1-1. Right. Will did the intro. I've done a lot of the guiding to the subjects. So do you want to do the outro, Sam?
Of course, I've not spoken that much tonight, and I do apologise, but I think we've had a good conversation. I'm trying to not dominate the conversation as much. But anyway,
See what you did there.
But
Swat you are. Swat you are.
So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I know it's been a late one tonight. We do apologise.
I can't wait to get in bed. Fuck me.
We do apologise for that if you have plans for tomorrow.
Yeah, like me working a 12-hour fucking shift.
Yeah, like that. Shut up, this is my outro, not yours. Thank you so much for watching tonight. If you have liked what you've seen, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the TubeMix channel. And please share us with all your friends as well, as we need as many people as possible to like this show, and to increase the word. Anyway, thank you very much. My thanks to our two solid as a rock performers. It's the best performance.
And Will.
It's the best. Will. It's the best performance that TubeMix has had for a while. So well done.
That because he didn't say very much because he's not very well.
I didn't know you weren't very well.
Could you not hear me coughing?
He's dead sniffly and coughy.
Yeah, but have you got a cold?
I think I'm starting to get a cold. I think, yeah, I've just about got my voice.
To George as well, who I know's got an early start tomorrow. Thank you very much, and get better soon. Better soon, TubeMix. I don't know exactly when we'll be back, but that I'll leave that up to TubeMix to decide. and see how he's feeling. I am not available this weekend, so if you really like my voice, you're just going to have to replay it over and over again on this episode. But anyway, I don't know why you would, but there you go. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you soon. From everybody here, God bless Maradona and all his family, and stay safe.
Gracias, Diego.
Very impressive. Bye, everyone.
No, they
Take
speak
care.
Spanish in Argentina.
Yeah, I know, but I said very impressive.
Alright, do you want to fight you or what?
No. Anyway, we'll fight.
21
We'll fight off there, and yeah, we'll see you soon.